One more thing that's important to look at when we're talking about functions is this idea of variable scope. And we did talk about this briefly when we introduced variables earlier in the class, but it's important to pay attention to variable scope. And what I mean by that is that things that happen inside a function, like the declaring of variables, can only be taken care of or only be available inside that function. So let's take a look at how that looks, okay? So what happens in a function stays in a function. It's kind of like Las Vegas in that way. So if we have a string that says a greeting, like nice to meet you, and that string is defined in our main program, and we have a function, our little friend here, say hello function, with strname as a parameter. And inside that function, we have a string that's created. We create a string called strHello, and it says hello, and then it inserts strname into a template literal so that it'll say whatever the name is. It'll say hello Bill or hello George or whatever. And then we write that to the console. So we're creating a string inside the function using strname, and then we're writing that to the console. And then we're also inside that function taking that greeting that we created outside the function, and we're writing that to the console. So the console gets 2 lines of something. And then later on, if we want to say hello Bill and call that function, you can see what it will do. It'll say hello Bill, and then right below that it will say nice to meet you, and that will work perfectly. But here's the caveat. If I want to later on, after I run that function, say console log, let's print strname. So whatever was given here inside that function for strname, let's print that to the console. That's going to give me an error because I'm outside the function trying to access something that was created inside the function. So that includes both parameters and variables that were declared inside the function. So strHello and strname are not available to me outside this function, and if I try to access them, it will result in an error. So that is variable scope and how it works with functions. Remember, you can always access things that were created outside your current scope, but you cannot access things outside the scope that were created in a more narrow scope. So it'll take a little getting used to, and probably this is going to get you at some point, but that is how variable scope works with functions. Okay, so this is defined outside the function, so it can be available anywhere because it was defined outside the function. Parameters only exist inside functions, and strHello is defined inside the function, so it only lives there. strGreeting can be accessed inside the function even though it was accessed outside, because you can always go from the outside in. You just can't go from the inside out. And that's kind of how the rule breaks down. So these variables, strname and strHello, don't exist outside that function.